Negotiation isn't something that only happens in boardrooms. It happens when you ask for a raise, when you split chores with your partner, when you haggle over a car, and when you talk your kids into eating vegetables. The truth is, we negotiate constantly. Most of us just don't realize we're doing it, and even fewer of us do it well. Today, I want to walk you through the core lessons from some of the most influential negotiation books ever written. Books that have shaped how CEOs, diplomats, hostage negotiations, and everyday people get what they want without burning bridges. We'll look at how these ideas can reshape your mindset, not just your tactics, and I'll give you 3 concrete actions you can start using today. Let's start with The Foundation, a book called Getting to Yes by Roger Fisher and William Ury out of the Harvard Negotiation Project. This book basically invented modern negotiation theory, and its central idea is simple but radical. Separate the people from the problem and focus on interests, not positions. Here's what that means. A position is what someone says they want, and an interest is why they want it. 2 people arguing over a single orange might both be stuck on the position, I want the whole orange, but if you dig into interest, you might find one person wants the peel to bake a cake and the other wants the juice. Suddenly, there's no conflict at all. There's a solution that gives both people everything they need. Most people negotiate badly because they fight over positions, they dig in, they treat the other side as an opponent. Fisher and Ury's insight was that the best negotiators treat the other party as a partner in solving a shared problem, not an enemy to be defeated. That single mindset shift from combat to collaboration is the foundation everything else is built on. The second major book that changed the game is Never Split the Difference by Voss, a former lead FBI international hostage negotiator. Voss's core idea is that classic win-win negotiations theory misses something crucial: emotion. He argues that negotiation isn't a rational chess match, it's fundamentally psychological. His approach is called tactical empathy, understanding and voicing the other person's feelings and perspective before you ever try to change their mind. Voss teaches a technique called mirroring, repeating the last few words someone says, which naturally makes them elaborate and reveal more. He teaches labeling, saying things like, "It seems like you're worried about the deadline," which makes people feel heard and lowers their defenses. And he teaches the power of calibrated questions. Open-ended questions starting with how or what, like, how am I supposed to do that? Instead of demanding something directly. These questions give the other person the illusion of control while actually guiding them towards your desired outcome. The third pillar comes from a concept called BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement, also from Getting to Yes. Your BATNA is your walk-away option. It's what you'll do if this negotiation falls apart. And here's the mindset shift. The strength of your negotiating position has almost nothing to do with how badly you want the deal, and everything to do with how good your alternative is. If you know you have other options, another job offer, another buyer, another supplier, you negotiate from calm confidence instead of desperation. People can feel desperation, and it weakens every word you say. Fourth, anchoring. Whoever makes the first credible offer often shapes the entire range of the conversation. Robert Cialdini's book Influence explains why. Our brains use the first number we hear as a reference point for everything that follows, even when we know it's arbitrary. Skilled negotiators use this deliberately, opening with an ambitious but defensible number, because it drags the entire negotiation toward their favor. Now, here's where this becomes about more than tactics. This is about mindset. One of these books points to the same underlying truth. Negotiation is not about manipulation and it's not about aggression. It's about preparation, empathy, and patience. The people who negotiate best are not the loudest or the most dominant. They're the ones who've done their homework, who stay calm under pressure, and who genuinely try to understand what the other side needs. That's a mindset you can apply to your career, your relationships, and your finances. It teaches you to stop seeing conflict as something to avoid and start seeing it as something to navigate skillfully. It teaches you that asking is not rude, it's expected. And it teaches you that your value in any negotiation is tied directly to your alternatives, which means building those alternatives. Skills, savings, relationships, options is itself a negotiating strategy. Let's look at how this plays out for real people from very different backgrounds. Take Nelson Mandela. After 27 years in prison, he walked into negotiations with the apartheid government that many thought were impossible. He didn't come in swinging. He studied Afrikaans, learned about his opponent's history and fears, and separated the people from the problem, building personal trust with negotiators even while opposing everything their system stood for. That interest-based relationship-first approach is a textbook example of Fisher and Urey's principles applied on a national scale. Now let's take Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. Throughout the Eurozone debt crisis, Merkel became known for a negotiating style built on patience, preparation, and emotional restraint. She was famous for outlasting counterparts in marathon EU summit sessions by simply staying calmer and more prepared than anyone in the room. That's not BATNA and composure in action. Take Richard Branson, the British entrepreneur behind Virgin. Branson has spoken openly about how he negotiates from curiosity rather than confrontation, famously charming competitors and partners by focusing on what they actually need, not just pushing his own agenda, which helped him build deals across airlines, music and telecoms. Take Christine Lagarde, the French lawyer who became head of the IMF and later the European Central Bank. Her career was built on high-stakes multilateral negotiations between countries with wildly different interests, and she's credited with a negotiating style rooted in finding shared ground among opposing national interests. Pure Harvard method thinking. And let's take Indra Nooyi, the Indian-American former CEO of PepsiCo, who has spoken about how she negotiated major shifts in the company's product strategy by first deeply understanding what her board, her critics, and her shareholders each actually feared, and addressing those fears directly. Instead of just pushing her vision, different continents, different industries, different eras, same underlying playbook. So how do you actually put this into practice? Here are 3 concrete actions you can take this week. Action 1, before any negotiation, write down your BATNA. Literally write it on paper. What will you do if this falls through? A better job offer, a different vendor, simply walking away knowing this cold before you walk into the room changes your entire emotional state. You'll notice you speak slower, ask more questions, and feel less need to fill silence. Action 2. Practice calibrated questions in low-stakes situations. Next time a co-worker, friend, or family member disagrees with you, instead of stating your position, ask, how would that work? Or what's driving this decision? This trains the muscle of curiosity over confrontation. So it's second nature when the stakes are high. Action 3. Always let the other side reveal information first. Whenever possible, in salary talk, in buying a car, in any deal, ask, what did you have in mind before naming your number? Whoever anchors first shapes the conversation, but whoever listens first usually gets more information, and information is leverage. Now, let's talk about why this actually matters for your everyday life and your finances. In everyday life, negotiation skills reduce conflict. Couples who negotiate interest instead of digging into positions resolve arguments faster and resent each other less. Parents who use calibrated questions with teenagers get more cooperation than parents who issue demands. Even something as small as returning a faulty product goes smoother when you understand tactical empathy. Instead of getting angry at customer service, in personal finance, these skills are worth real money. Salary negotiations alone, done with BATNA awareness and anchoring, can add tens of thousands of dollars over a career, compounded through raises, bonuses, and retirement contributions that are all calculated as a percentage of your pay. Negotiating interest rates, insurance premiums, rent, and even medical bills are all real-world applications of the exact same principles. In business, these same skills shape supplier contracts, partnership terms, investor deals, and client relationships. Business owners who understand interests over position build partnerships because they're not extracting one-time wins. At the heart of it, negotiations isn't a trick, it's a mindset of preparation over panic, curiosity over conflict, and patience over pressure. Whether you're Nelson Mandela negotiating a nation's future or you're negotiating your next salary review, the principles are exactly the same. Prepare your alternatives, understand the other person's interests, ask more than you tell, and walk into every conversation, big or small, like it's a problem you're solving together, not a battle you're trying to win. That's the mindset. Now, go use it, and remember to design your profits first and your spend second. Subscribe and like the video if you've enjoyed it.